would you support the updating of Wales's carbon reduction pathway to be consistent with the aim of being a globally responsible Wales and reaching net zero well before 2045? And how would this be delivered?
So should we just give everybody one chance to respond to this? So
yes, I think,
got 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so about a minute each, if you could.
Okay, please put your hand up if you'd like to go first. Helen.
Yeah, absolutely. I've talked about it throughout the event, so I'll just summarise. Net zero by 2030 is our commitment. This sits across economy, society, culture, well-being, energy. It's all part of our green transformation for Wales, and it sits in every policy area. We have the joined up thinking to make this happen, and a green seats in the Senedd will hold government to account to just ask the right questions and give that extra scrutiny and accountability for the net zero transition.
Thank you. Rhys?
Yeah, 2035 is our date. We have a very green manifesto. We don't just have a section for the environment, it's throughout our manifesto, and everything I've spoken to about today is aimed towards the 2035. But for us to do that, there will have to be fundamental changes in our lives, but it is for the benefit of us today, but also the benefit of my 6-month daughter and generations yet to be born.
Thank you. Jenny?
We need to be very ambitious, but having listened very carefully to Lord Deben, otherwise known as John Selwyn Gummer, who happens to be, I think, my favourite Tory, because he is very, very clear about the dangers of the climate emergency. I'm not sure that it is achievable, certainly not by 2030. I think it's going to be challenging to reduce our emissions to 63% of what they were in 1990 by 2030. So I think it has to be achievable in order to enable us to present it as such. I think we need to be as ambitious as possible and to stop doing things that are endangering our country. But I think to set ourselves up to fail could induce cynicism on the part of the population. So it would be lovely to think we could achieve these things by 2030 or 2035. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, thank you. Callum?
Well, here's hoping that this makes me Jenny's new favourite Tory, but I can basically agree with a lot of, if not everything she just said there. In terms, I've gone through things from Clean Air Act, Clean Air Zone, and a lot of other things this evening. And yeah, we have a 2050 target for the net zero carbon emissions in Wales. And yeah, we would want, if it was possible to actually get it down earlier in a way that is not that's only economically disruptive in a positive way, as well as a way that people can get on board with. We've seen some, when the Extinction Rebellion protests were happening a couple of years ago, it didn't seem to get lots of the public support on board. That was the wrong way to go about it, and that's where we want to go, and that's why we think 2050 is achievable. But of course, if anything can be done earlier in a way that's along the ways I just outlined, then I don't see why not. And I think it's great that all these parties here today are committing to very similar schemes, all for the good of the environment and future generations to come.
Thank you. Alex?
Well, if this is the last question of this evening, then perhaps, it sounds like we're all in some sort of agreement on this, as we should be. If we are going to meet targets, we are going to have to pull together. There's no doubt about that. But I believe here in Wales that we can lead. We can lead the way, and not only show Europe, but show the world how things can be done. We've got renewable energy through tidal. I know we're pushing for vehicle charging infrastructure, but making Port Talbot a manufacturing hub for offshore wind power. Let's do it. Investing in Holyhead's renewable energy and hydrogen production capabilities. Hydrogen is the fuel of the future. Electric is coming online, but hydrogen it will be the future of car production. So let's develop Holyhead. We have it here in Wales. Let's work together to make it happen.